Hey, welcome to the My Inner Struggle podcast, where I talk about everything lifestyle, personal growth, and business. My name is Laura Ferry. Welcome. I am here today. I'm a little nervous. I have my dear friend Eduardo Oropeza. Did I say it right?
You said it right,
Okay,
Laura.
good. Who has
Yes.
become a very dear person in my life. And I'm so happy that you're here with me. And I wouldn't want to be doing this with anybody else for the first time ever because you're such a great soul and you're so encouraging. And I'm really happy that you're here.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you so much
welcome.
for the invitation. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm very excited to be part of this project that you launched a while back, and I've seen you grow. So I'm very, very excited for this. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Of course. Um, I was just thinking this morning, we met just about a year ago. I think it was. It was either July or August of
I
last
think it
year.
was August or September, I believe, but almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I appreciate who you like, what role you've become in my life, quite honestly. I know we've helped both, each other, obviously,
Yes.
through some things, but man, you were there through some tough times of mine, and I truly appreciate you. Like, you have no idea, really. And, yeah, so I'm excited that you're here. So we were talking about a few things, but why don't you introduce yourself? Whatever you want to share, I'm up for hearing.
Well, first of all, thank you for telling me those things. I appreciate that. As you know, it has been mutual, not just in your benefit, but mine also, of all the conversations and all the work we've done together. So I think it's been a blessing, among other things, beyond fun, of course. Introduce myself. Well, I don't want to talk about work, but I basically worked around tourism my entire life, sales mostly, but this path of coaching, which was where I met you almost a year ago, is something that's been in the back of my head, trying to lift off, not as professionally as you have done,
That's
but
not that's not true, actually. That's not true.
uh,
But
well,
I have to say, from the moment we met and we were coaching each other, there was
yes,
definitely like we definitely had a mutual I, I don't want to say like connection, but it was like it was definitely like interesting. I definitely felt like you asked the right questions and you could, dig and vice versa because I knew as I was coaching you, like I was really tapping into some stuff and it felt like really cool because it was one of the first really grounding experiences I had like as a coach. So that was really neat.
thank you. But I think the important thing that I want to share here is that the passion I have for helping other people be a better version of themselves is something that happened in a natural way because being a leader in different roles in my job, previous jobs, and
Hmm.
such. So it's something I did, the coaching and mentor part of it, something I did implicitly, but I didn't have like the official certification to
Right.
back it up.
Yeah.
So that's why that happened. And out of all the things I do in my life, I think it's the one I'm most passionate for. So it's something I'm trying to put some head and legs and arms together to the project evolving actually. So, but other than that, I'm very, very happy to be here to chat about whatever it is that we come up with.
that I come up with. I like you're always willing to roll with it.
Of course.
Yeah. One of the things, so you were here for me in some of my darkest times, and the calls that we had sometimes entailed me crying for 20 minutes. And you listened and you were patient and you gave me a lot of encouragement. And I really appreciated that and needed to hear that in in those moments. And it was something that I wasn't really getting around me right now. So I really looked forward to that time that we had, on our calls each week, so that, it just felt better. I needed the support, and you were there for that. And um the topic that I kind of wanted to cover with you was about following your focus and where your energy goes, because that was kind of what I was going through at the time, right? I was mourning relationships and being overwhelmed as a single mom, and all of these things. And um it was it was really hard. And you sat there and you listened and you didn't judge me, and you would sit there and look at me right in the eyes and say, okay, so what's next? And you told me something very, very vital to the whole process that I definitely did not want to hear at the time. And you're like, it's going to get worse before it gets better. And I want to be like, how much worse could it get right now? And I was referring to, financial struggles, as you're trying to handle it all. And even still, I'm not in the position that I'd like to be right now, but holy moly, it's way better than it was. But when you're building a business, everything that you've got goes back into that business until you reach the next level. And that was really that was really tough to hear, but I've used that many times now over and over, and it came from you. No one's really ever said that to me before, and I quite frankly wanted to cry more when I heard that. And you weren't wrong. That's the thing. But as I was going through these things, like, it helped. And then all of a sudden, there was the light. And then it just started getting better. And you just keep building on those positive um, upticks, in your adventure, right? So I know that you've also had some turbulent times in your life recently, in the past, whatever, and found focus again. So, is there anything that you'd like to share about that experience, or what you did to find your focus again? You don't have to get into personal details or anything if you don't want to. If you do, awesome. But however you found that focus, I'm curious, because we are two different creatures. But you've been, a single guy, I would say, like, single guy for like a while. You have your routines and your habits, and your sneaker collections and stuff like that. So how did you refine your focus after those turbulent times?
I think that's a great question. But before I get into the answer, I just want to say that I may have provided help or guidance or whatever, but you were the one that did the work. So it was very rewarding and very humbling to see you evolve in those stages of where you were and where you are now. So beyond me giving you props or validation, it's very important that you give it to yourself also,
Yeah,
because
I
that's the foundation of it. But it's been amazing working with you, being your friend, being there in your life, and helping you through these times. It's been very rewarding and very enlightening for me. So thank you.
I appreciate you.
Um,
And
Same here.
thank you.
And to answer your question, I think the way to find our focus always comes back to understanding the why. Why are we doing things? What drives us? Why are we having this conversation? Why are we in the jobs that we are at? Or why is it that we wake up in the morning? You know, when you understand your why and why you are doing things, everything comes aligned and everything gets its purpose and everything finds its own way.
Right.
I know that we have shared a lot of things that have happened to both of us, uncertain times, difficult times. The way I see it is, even the bad times, I think they are blessings, because the pain stays there until it has taught you everything that it needs to teach you. That's when the pain will leave you. So even the bad things are here to give us lessons which we will use in our life. And even we always talk about happiness and the good times and being okay and all those kind of things. But
Right.
life isn't that. Life is both bad and good. Life is difficult and easy. Life is everything, all the colors of the rainbow, right? So when bad things happen, it's not that we are like pushing them away, or it's just facing them head on.
Right.
And it's gonna knock you out. It's gonna put you to the floor, and you're gonna get yourself up, remember why you're doing things, and keep moving forward. That's I mean, trying to sum it up, always remembering my why. And I have a tattoo in my hand with the pillars that are the most important for me in my life, which are peace, love, discipline, and honesty. For me, those four pillars are, and not towards like everybody, but towards me, because when you start with yourself, that's when you benefit the rest of the people
Mhm.
around you. They're going to benefit
Right.
from you.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'm sure that we've said this before, but there's that saying, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. And
Yes.
just this morning while
Yes.
I was getting ready and I was thinking about recording this with you, and I was a little nervous, as we are as we move into new territory, and stuff like that. And you and I have never done this before. We have lots of conversations, obviously, but I was thinking, had I not gone through the pain that I went through, like I wouldn't be where I am now. And as much as that sucks, but I wouldn't, like we had said, I don't know, it was probably like 2 months ago or whenever that was happening, right? Like if we hadn't, if we hadn't gone through these things, we wouldn't be able to help these people get through these things, right? All of those, the pain, the heartache, all those tough times, and come out on top. Also, I didn't know you had any tattoos.
I have three.
Oh, okay. We'll have to talk about that at another time.
I have three, but they're not like, I have one in each shoulder and one in my hand.
I
They're
think I
very
might have
small.
known. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So, yeah, I got a little emotional as you were talking, quite honestly, because I was thinking about those things. And like I said, there are days that hold great significance in our journeys. And
Yes,
it's really funny because if we say, like, we met almost a year ago, would I ever have thought that I'd be sitting here with you today? Not really exactly. I thought about, what my next steps were for this building this company, that I'm building. And um, it was you that gave me the bravery to start the podcast, if you remember,
I
because you're
remember.
like, just do it, Laura. Just start. You're already doing these videos. Just do it. And of course, no one watching knows, but Eduardo had his own podcast for a while that he recently stopped doing, but it it was quite inspiring, and I loved hearing about that. I never got to listen because it is in Spanish and I don't speak Spanish, so that's kind of a challenge. But the whole concept of it, you're like, just do it. And I'm like, how? And sometimes technology is very intimidating to me, and navigating that, right? So, it's kind of silly. It's like having these projects. Do you ever get these work projects that you'd get that you've never done before, and you're like, how am I going to figure this out? And it's sort of the one that you procrastinate a little bit because there's some learning involved, and maybe it's something that you're not super interested in figuring out, perhaps. You want the end result, but you're like, ugh. So there's been a few things on the technology front as I've been navigating and building my business that have been like the Achilles heel, and doing the podcast is one of them. And it was literally more or less a technology fear of mine to get over. And once you're like, just use the app, and like, just press record, you just start talking. And you were so fucking right, because that's all it took. And then all the other stuff you just kind of figure out. And the amount of information now that my brain holds about microphones and cameras and lighting and all sorts of stuff. A year ago, I never would have thought I'd even know it. And quite honestly, I say all along the way, right? I've had to, when you're building your own business, you have to be the doer of all the things until you can hire the doer of all the things. I'd much rather pay someone to figure it out than do it myself, but here we are. So, thank you for that and giving me that push, I guess, really to do that. Um, yeah.
It has been my pleasure. Trust me.
So, so how did you, so you are a creature of habit and you have a daily morning routine and you had lost focus on that for a little bit, or we do, from time to time, right? So tell me how you have gotten back into your morning routine and what that looks like. How did you force yourself to do it? Because
Wow.
you've got nobody
Okay.
standing behind you like, come on, Eduardo, let's get up, let's go.
Yeah. When you realize that no one's coming, no one's coming. I think I heard this from Mel Robbins a while back.
Yeah,
When you realize that no one is coming and it's just you and you have to do it. I think it took me a long time to figure that one out, but
mm-hmm.
I just did. And I started to notice that, and this may sound kind of weird, but
Uh-oh.
I start to think about the Eduardo from the future and the Eduardo from the past in a way that, okay, let's set today, for example, that if I want to be ready, want to be help the Eduardo from the future tomorrow have an easier morning, what can I do today to help him in the future, right? So if I have all the clothes ready, the shoes, everything that I need in order to start my morning
Mm-hmm.
easier tomorrow, I take care of it tonight. That helps me a lot. The Eduardo from the future is thankful to the Eduardo from the past for doing that.
I like the way you put that. Actually,
Right.
that's,
Okay.
yeah,
So I always start thinking what the Eduardo from the future is going to be thankful if I do it today.
right.
So the things that I don't do today, the Eduardo from the future is going to be like,
Come
why were you
on.
such a slacker,
Yes.
Eduardo from the past, you know? It's like Eduardo from the future does nothing. He's always like, thank you, thank you, thank you. But at the end, it's just you, right?
Right.
So,
That's interesting. I like the way you
so
put that. So, what time do you get up in the morning?
I wake up at 5:30
Oh, you do? Okay.
and I figured out that more than the morning routine, it's the night routine that helps me even more than the morning routine.
The
But I'll go over
preparation.
both. Yes, I'll go over both because it's very important. So in the morning, I wake up and I go to the restroom, obviously, because it's something that nobody says, but it
We've
happens
talked
because
about this before. Yes.
yes,
Okay.
but we're
Yes.
humans. So
Yes.
I drink water, I meditate, I try to read a little, or try to listen to a podcast on the
Oh,
way to the gym.
yes.
Um, and then I work out. I come back, breakfast, and start working. Well, shower, breakfast, and start working. That's my morning routine. I try to meditate, read, work out, do all those things. And now I integrated a second workout in 3 times a week. So I work out Pilates, then the gym, then I come back, breakfast, shower, and start working 3 times a week to see if I can hold up. But it's not magic because at night you have to make sure that you give your body the tools it needs in order to sleep properly.
Right.
I discovered that sleeping properly is essential. So,
It's probably one of the most important things that we can do.
if not the most, after
Yeah.
next to the food and all the things you put into your body, not just food, but the information you put into your head, the
Mm-hmm.
things you see, the things you listen, you have to be mindful of what things you're putting into your body.
Right.
But I try to, and I'm not reinventing the wheel here. It's stuff I picked up from other
Right.
people,
Yeah. Well,
but
that's what we are, right? A culmination of all the
exactly,
stuff that we're obtaining, right?
exactly. But I figured out that for example, I like watching TV, but I try to turn it off at least 2 hours before going to sleep.
Hmm.
No cell phone activity 1 hour before going to sleep. And I try to keep my room as dark as possible.
Right.
I have this thing that for the scent, I forgot the word in English. It's not a
A
humidifier, it's a
diffuser?
diffuser. Thank
Yes.
you.
What
I
is it
put
in
that
Spanish?
difusor. Yeah, it's
Oh,
the same
okay.
word.
Yes.
Yep, I put that in the room. I put the AC. So the room, it's like if you're walking into a spa and you're telling your body and your mind it's time to rest,
Hmm.
and you do that an hour prior, then your body starts to
I do
go and
that
you
too.
start.
What's your favorite scent? Or like, what do you use?
I have it right here. It's 31 herbs.
Oh, show me the bottle. Let me see. Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Mine's
and
like
I
it's
have
like a sleepy,
this other one that's called thyme as well.
oh, okay.
Those
I
are the ones I use.
mine is some sort of like sleepy mix. There's lavender in it and stuff, and I'm sure there's some other good stuff, but I I love it. It just makes, yes, you're right. Put it on like an hour before you're gonna go to bed. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing. And you walk in and it's just so calming. Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And no screens 1 hour before going to bed. Also no water 2 hours prior.
No
No
water, two
food three
hours.
hours prior.
Okay.
This way you're not getting up at the middle of the night to go
Right.
to the restroom or whatever, right? So all these things help you get a better night's sleep. So yeah,
Good. So, are you a coffee drinker?
no, I
Not at
don't
all.
drink coffee.
Do you drink tea or are you just
No,
nothing?
no,
Okay.
water,
Water.
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 Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm weird. I'm weird like
No, that's
that, I
not
know.
weird. That's,
Everybody in my family drinks coffee except me. Everybody in my family eats spicy food except me. So
you know,
sometimes I think I'm adopted, even I'm not. There's no way. But but yes, I don't. I like Coca-Cola though, or Pepsi or those type of drinks. I try not to drink them too much, but
right.
I prefer those if I need a caffeine boost
Hmm.
rather than a cup of coffee.
Okay. That's that's valid. I knew somebody else like that too. And the only reason I was asking about the coffee thing was because I do enjoy coffee, although at times, like I could probably go all day drinking coffee just because I like the way it tastes, but I really can't have that much caffeine because of my heart. And but I do enjoy it. And so even this morning I was laying there, and this is one of the things, routines are hard for me because I'm kind of a free spirit, as you know, but I need the structure. Only it's like I'm in denial that I need the structure sometimes. So the coffee thing, if on the days that I prep it the night before and I can just run downstairs and press the button, it is helpful. And I'm thanking that night before Laura, right? The past Laura for that task, which I am gonna use that from now on. But I was laying in my bed this morning and Evelyn came in and she's like snuggling with me and I'm like sitting here like I wish I had someone to go downstairs and make the coffee, but I only have myself to rely on, right? So I need to work that into my evening routine again. On the days that I do it, I feel so much better the next day. But now Eduardo's voice is going to be in my head every day before I go to bed, and it's like, okay, get this done so that you're prepped and ready for the next day. And what's funny is because we've talked about this before. I do prepare myself for the next day in so many ways, like my to-do lists and things like that I didn't get done today. It carries over onto the next day, but I fall short on some. So I almost want to make myself like a checklist so I don't forget, almost like you would for the kids, right? Like before you go to bed, make sure you do all these things. So maybe that'll help.
My only piece of advice there would be that remember why you're doing those things.
Yes.
And it's very important that when you talk to the Laura from the future and the Laura from the future talks to the Laura from the past, they're very receptive and grateful. And this
Yes.
may sound like bananas, but when you're grateful and you receive those thanks that that gratefulness back, then you're like, oh, I thank the Eduardo from the past for washing the dishes last night, so I don't have to do them right now, and I can leave earlier.
I love that
They're
so
like, then
much.
the Eduardo from the past is like, oh, the Eduardo from the future is so thankful. He's a really cool guy. I'm gonna do it again, you
I
know?
love
And you
it.
start
Yes.
you start to have that relationship with yourself that
Yes.
it's a good relationship instead of like, God damn it, I have to wash the dishes. That lazy guy from the future is not gonna do shit, so I'm gonna
Right.
do it right now, you
Right.
know?
That's
So
all that self-talk because we are the voice that we hear most,
yes,
right? Yes.
yes,
So
yes.
you're spot on with that. That's right. And yes, as I'm walking downstairs in the morning getting ready to prep the coffee and the sink is full of dishes, then yes, it's like I should have just done that last night. Like and you're but you know what? And most of the time again, and I'm not going to it's not that I'm playing or making excuses, but there is a lot that I have to handle during the day. And so on the mornings that I come down and I didn't do the dishes the night before, I'm like, I honestly am not scolding her. I'm giving her grace because she has a full plate. There's no, it's nearly impossible sometimes to get the amount of things done that I need to during the day because I'm only one person. And, I do have 3 kids and a house and a business and all of these things. So I'm more of in the mindset of forgiving myself for not doing it the night before. And I don't want to be tough on myself, but I think the evening Laura needs to be tougher on herself, not the morning one. Does that make any sense? Does that make
But
sense?
with love, with
But
love.
with love, yes,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
So, yeah. Well, this was really cool. I appreciate you. This is so fun, and I love spending time with you.
Same
Um,
here.
yeah. Um, So we're gonna have to do this again. I think we'll dive into some other topics. I know your game. I know you are. So I want to thank everybody for watching and listening, and make sure you check out the blog at myinnerstruggle.com. If you know anyone that would love or benefit from watching the My Inner Struggle podcast, please share it with a friend, either in a message or on social media. And make sure you subscribe so that you get notified every time a new video comes out. And I had a great time talking with Eduardo, and I hope that you did too.
Of
And
course.
thanks for joining me, and I will see everyone soon.
Thank you so much, Laura. It was a
Thanks.
pleasure being here.
I'll see you soon. Bye.